Hey y'all, welcome back. At time of recording, it's International Women's Day. Let's give it up for the Womexans out there, yay! Now I know what you're thinking. On a day like today, in a month like Women's History Month, we really need to take the time to talk to the women in our lives, to appreciate all that they do for us. And what better way to kick off Women's History Month than with this Burger King tweet? Women belong in the kitchen.
Oh my God!
The topic of today's video is this tweet. And though it is a mere 5 words long, I think it acts as a fucking doctorate level thesis project on the state of woke branding these days, especially on Twitter. So let's give a breakdown. Obviously, as you can see, there's the 5-word, eye-grabbing phrase that is ripped straight from the Misogynists 101 playbook, but they've got some plausible deniability on their side. You see, if you go down here, they have a couple follow-up tweets. This one reads, "If they want to, of course, yet only 20% of chefs are women. We're on a mission to change the gender ratio in the restaurant industry by empowering female employees with the opportunity to pursue a culinary career. We are proud to be launching a new scholarship program which will help female Burger King employees pursue their culinary dreams." So there you have it, folks. That makes it all okay. It's a perfect tweet all of a sudden. You know, they're just taking the opportunity to draw attention to their perfectly woke, perfectly helpful program thing. Don't at all question their ulterior motives here. Now, if we take their plausible deniability at face value, we would be perfectly fine with this. We're like, oh, they're drawing attention to these things through the use of a outlandish and catchy tagline. But forgive me for being a bit of a corporate skeptic here. I know that's really a hot take. I really don't think we can analyze this in the good faith they would like us to. For example, as somebody points out down here in the thread, let me find it. I was having this thought earlier, and it turns out I was absolutely correct. Shout out Becca Beckery here on Twitter. The phrase "women belong in the kitchen" and the follow-up tweet about the number of chefs that are women could fit in the exact same tweet. So it wasn't that it wasn't that the second tweet was too wordy or too long, and that's why they couldn't put them together. The choice to separate the two was intentional. And as she points out here, this is absolutely just clickbait. They 10,000% did it like this so that you would see the initial thing would be sparked in confusion, perhaps outrage, perhaps support at the phrase, to look into Burger King. All of a sudden you're thinking about Burger King, and maybe you go and buy a Burger King, who knows? And on its face, this might look pretty par for the course in the current stream of woke brand advertising, but I really think this rips the mask off of that in one super particular way. As Becca Beckery points out, these two tweets can fit in the same thing, and if they're really looking to sell the message, you would include this tweet and immediately follow it up with this part. But you see, for the brands, it's never about actually sending this message. They don't actually care about their little culinary program, or they're not too concerned with the state of women in the restaurant industry. They care about getting a piece of free marketing. Whatever form the marketing needs to take, so be it. If it means you have this weird kind of sexist headline that we'll get into a second, seems to be empowering some folks online, that's what it takes. If distancing yourself from the actual message is what gets you more clicks, so be it. Because it's not about this part, it's about this. The fact that this has, in like 10 hours here, collected almost 600,000 likes and an unimaginable amount of retweets. 300,000 retweets is, in scientific terms, a metric fuck ton. And when you look here, their tweets about their scholarship programs are like less than 20% of the likes that the initial tweet got. And you can see how they very specifically constructed this plausible deniability. Like, I hate this example because fuck brand Twitter, but replied with this reaction image about deleting the post, and you can see in their response, why would we delete a tweet that's drawing attention to a huge lack of female representation in your industry? We thought you'd be on board with this. Very intentionally ignoring the fact that they separated them out. They built themselves this 4D chess-esque mental gymnastics defense mechanism where when somebody questions the validity of using a sexist phrase to promote things beneath it in a thread, they could just snap back with, oh, do you hate women, you sexist pervert, you? And another aspect that this reveals of the complete mask-off nature of this current trend of woke branding is the way that for the majority of these, outrage has been generated by reactionaries, but this one seems to have very smartly tried to phrase it in a way that it could honestly get any kind of reaction from any person. For example, you've got people down here who are just like, shut the fuck up, or people like this questioning, well, let's not give more attention to the brand. You get the people reacting to the headline a little bit like, this is just kind of shitty. You get some people defending the use of the PR to draw attention to things. But then on the other hand, because you, in a way that looks like it's going against the current woke brand trend, you get right-wing Twitter calling this based and red-pilled. The B in Burger King stands for based. And all of a sudden, you're tapping into every corner of outrage or criticism that you could possibly get in a way that if you did include this phrase in a tweet with this one, you get some, progressives and leftists being like, whatever, this isn't really the best way to approach these issues. And then you'd ordinarily get right-wing Twitter going ape shit over like, woke branding. But now you get fucking, returning to the show, Mark Dice here, women not knowing how to cook is a major contributor to the decline of Western civilization. Thanks, Burger King, for helping point them back in the right direction. And then you get fucking edgy, ironic right-wing Twitter over here. So, whoa, what the fuck? Based. They agreed with the line I said in junior high that I won't let go of. And what's really important to note is the way that they phrase this to possibly appeal to right-wing Twitter when they haven't read the whole thread does, to whatever extent we might be able to demonstrate that it would, harm, if nowhere else than just the mentions of Twitter, to actual women. Like there's people replying to some of these female critics down here being like, oh, shut up. Like they're feeling in this moment kind of empowered to hop online and just say dumb junior high sexist shit from your headline. In the way you're phrasing it to try to get clicks, you're actively creating a little bit more sexism because, and this isn't to say, oh, it's missing the mark because you're really not fulfilling your goal here. It is to say they don't care about this goal. This goal only ever exists because some fucking suit in corporate headquarters crunched the numbers and realized if they put a little bit of money toward a scholarship program, put out a free ad campaign like this, they'd get X number of dollars back in, and therefore that makes it worth it. It wasn't just a tweet. It's got a fucking international campaign going on in like newspapers and shit. So this was a fully fledged plan to make the money back that they're putting into this scholarship here. What's incredibly clear through the format of the tweet that they separated the two, for the way that it kind of empowers right-wing reactionary Twitter to get all up in arms calling this a great move, the way that it empowers reactionary media figures like Mark Dice to hop in and get a bunch of likes behind women belong in the kitchen and the fact that they don't know how to cook is the decline of the West. All of this is an intended byproduct that they are perfectly okay with, because it doesn't matter to them how much reactionaries get coverage from this, how much Burger King-based trends and perhaps gets some women harassed today. None of the actual harm or help that it does to women is relevant, because to them, it's always about what way to get the most eyes on their product to get the biggest return on the investment. And going back to the simple separation of these tweets, it really reveals how unique this is to some other commercials. You know, like it'd be one thing if that old Gillette commercial had a part 1 that was just sexism, and then it split it into part 2 with, oh, here's our twist on the whole sexist formula. That'd be one thing, and that would draw attention in a different way, but it would reveal, as this one does, that the point is never about saying the statement that you think. It's all just things that corporate feels will fit the market in a way that will bring the most clicks in. It has never been about supporting progressive values. It's never been about helping women in a field where they're underrepresented. It has always been about clicks. And no matter what fucking Glenn Beck ass motherfuckers over here will say about, oh, the wokes are eating themselves alive. Oh no, they're just so dumb and triggered. It's like, no, they're reacting to the fact, because, you know, progressives are catching on to the trend way quicker than it seems conservatives are able to over here. And I think this might be a watershed moment for a lot of people, that it has never been about furthering women's causes. It has always just been marketing, plain and simple, bottom line marketing. And now I'm particularly worried, as some Twitter usage have pointed out this morning, I'm really worried that we're now going to start to see a counter trend of shit like this, where you just say blatantly racist, like you'll get Jimmy John's tweeting out some really racist stereotype about like Mexicans, and then they reply down here with, oh, well, actually this is harmful and we're putting money towards helping this cause thing, and it's gonna get 10,000 million retweets, and Donald Trump will, if he ever gets his Twitter back, retweet it and say based and red-pilled because they said racist thing about Mexicans. Because let's be clear, and I'm adding to this today, but you know, I'm a very minor user, so I'll take that with a grain of salt. But this is all just a ploy to get people to talk about it. You know, Fox News will probably have a clip about it later in the day. Glenn Beck here was quick in his morning radio show to have a take on Burger King. It's all just getting free advertising through the channels of social media. That's it. That's all it ever is. And I really wish they never will, though, because it's a really helpful talking point to act like these brands, that big corporations are on the side of progressives and the left. But I really wish conservatives would realize that it's a part of market functions. It's not the actual political interests of these companies. But that'll never happen. They'll never learn their lesson. It's way too convenient for their business model to act like this is all completely 100% ideologically desired by these companies. So whatever, I'm just talking into a void at this point, but. And anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my quick reaction breakdown here. Shout out to all my lovely, definitely not misogynistic patrons, like those whose names are currently on screen. On top of generously supporting me, patrons get access to exclusive and behind-the-scenes content, like rough edits of every single one of my videos and behind-the-scenes footage. So be sure to join me on Patreon if you want access to all those behind-the-scenes goodies. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to toss me one of them likes and subscribe down below. Make sure to click the little bell and set the notifications to all so you can see the exact nanosecond I release my next video. Be sure to share this video on whichever social medias you frequent. It really helps the channel out, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, be sure to follow me over here on Twitter.com because I post my own L's quite frequently. Thanks much, and I'll see you next time.